Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for being willing to see my presentation in this video. In this opportunity, I would like to present our paper entitled The Urgent of Arranging a Permanent Coalition of Political Parties for the Establishment of Effective Government in Indonesia. This paper was written by three people, namely Ahmad Muhyiddin and then myself, Labib Mutakin, and the last is Abdillah Nugroho. The three of us are a lecturer from Universitas Muhammadiyah Surakarta in Indonesia. In this slide, I would like to explain that the President of Indonesia in the current reform era face three challenges. First, the constitutional authority of the president is increasingly limited, and the parliament is getting stronger. The second, political support is difficult to achieve a majority, and the third, to control a civil society is getting higher. Especially the second challenge regarding the political support of the president in the previous era or in the New Order era, namely when Indonesian was led by President Suharto. The president in New Order era or in the previous era did not have a problem related to political support because Golkar, that actually is the biggest party in that era, has always been the party supporting the government, which has an absolute majority seat in parliament. In contrast, in the current era, in the democratic era, in reform era, in this era, on the one hand, the authority of president is very limited, but on the other hand, the control of the authority of the parliament has become much stronger. In addition, it is very difficult for the president to get support from one party that control the majority of seats in the parliament. In fact, the effectiveness of the government will certainly be greatly influenced by political support from parliament. Therefore, to answer the second challenge regarding the lack of political support, there is no other way. The president must form the right coalition. So it is only natural that president in Indonesia makes effort such as signing a political agreement with political parties in parliament. So building a solid coalition is one of the president's strategies to keep governing effectively. In order to build such a solid coalition, one of the things to do is to share power among coalition members, one of which is by forming a government cabinet that reflect the strength of the coalition. However, there is no guarantee that the parties that are member of the coalition that have representative in the legislature will always support government program. And otherwise, the parties that previously joined the opposition are not always in their position, as a position. Sometimes they will join coalition in order to get some position in government. For example, there are moments when the opposition parties cross over their the first position in order to find a convenient place in government to get higher position in government, for example. In this point, government party only forsake pragmatism. In this slide, I want to say that unfortunately, the importance of the element of coalition between the government and parliament in order to create effective government is inversely proportional to existing reality. If one look carefully at a historical series regarding coalition of political parties in Indonesia, it can be concluded that coalition built in Indonesia is interest-based coalition, not ideological. Coalition is just a way of fulfilling a threshold. I mean that if you wanna to propose a president, you have to make a coalition to fulfilling the threshold, and then you can propose the president. So, political parties only think about how the condition for combined political parties are met when carrying out pairs of candidates. This is actually the problem. The coalition system in Indonesia actually creates a paradox. This condition can be seen from a rivalry between a red and white coalition, or RWC, and Great Indonesian Coalition, GIC, in the 2014 election. The RWC, which was originally projected to become a permanent coalition, finally foundered after three of its member parties, namely P3 Party or Double 3P Party, Golkar Party, and PAN Party, declare their departure from the coalition membership. This party stated that it has joined the government and joined GIC, Great Indonesian Coalition. Yeah. Although the RWC split made the government stronger, in the future there is no guarantee that the coalition supporting the government will last forever. What happened in 2014 election was repeated again in the 2019 election. The parties that are member of Prosperous Fair Coalition, or PFC, that support the presidential candidate pair Prabowo Sandi, Prabowo Subianto and Sandiaga Uno, broke up and immediately moved closer to the coalition that won the election. Even Prabowo and his Gerindra party have now joined the Indonesian Work Coalition, which incidentally is a coalition supporting the President Jokowi. Practically at this time, only PKS party has firmly stated that it is opposition party. The rest our party are supporting the government. The various problem, and this is problem. But I want to say that the various problem arise because the practice of coalition of political parties that have been happening in Indonesia are built on the basis of interest and pragmatism, where political parties are free to turn into opposition parties or supporter of the government depending on the benefit that the party will receive. If the pragmatic coalition continues, then that will happen is only endless political chaos. Because political parties can turn into coalition or opposition at any time, depending on the interests of the political parties. If so, three things will happen. First, at a certain time, the government can become very weak due to the lack of political support from the parliament. As a result, the government will find difficult to succeed in their program that have been designed. The second, at the other time, the government become very strong because of the large of political support from the parliament, thus causing the political for corruption, collusion, and nepotism to be strengthened. Due to the small number of opposition parties that act as supervisor in the parliament. Third, the process of positioning itself as either a coalition party or an opposition party, there is the potential for pragmatic political contract between political parties and the government. For example, such as the distribution of ministerial quotas, project for procurement of goods and services, etc. The interest of the people, but what happened is the government is busier fulfilling the interest of political practice. If this is the case, then government is no longer effective. Okay, so the result of this study argue that the idea of permanent coalition is an alternative solution to eliminate the tradition of pragmatism in coalition from the parties. Equally important, this permanent coalition is projected to create an effective government climate because, first, the permanent coalition will provide stable political support for the government, where since the cabinet was formed, there has been certainly which parties are ready to support the president agenda until the end of his reign. Second, the permanent coalition will also create a system of regular checks and balances for the government, considering that this system will also form a permanent opposition party. There are two combination model that can be used to form a permanent coalition that is proportional, solid, oriented to the party vision and mission. First, a coalition based on their solidity, namely ideological based coalition that unite parties because of their ideological similarities. Second, a coalition based on its size, namely a limited fit coalition, where this coalition will provide strong support to the government without having to eliminate the existence of opposition that applies a system of check and balances. To sum up my presentation, I want to say that as one of the effort to realize an effective government, but the government and the parliament are expected to have the political will to incorporate the idea of permanent coalition into the national legislation program and then follow up with the formation of related laws. With strong legal basis, it is hoped that permanent coalition can bind parties in Indonesia to comply. Okay, this is a last slide. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our presentation about the urgency of permanent coalition in Indonesia. In the end, we want to say thank you for listening. May all those we have shared be beneficial for all of us.